closer look at Link and Zelda here. Nothing much to say about this shot besides she does get surprised, and Link looks at her. So what I might be thinking here is she knows something that he doesn't because he doesn't seem surprised.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
Alright, so this is our first closer look at this evil form coming from the middle of the screen. Two theories here. So he's got the Super Saiyan 3 hair. He's got the loincloth. He's got teeth. I don't know if that's much of a big factor here, but from first blush, it looks like Demise.
Yeah, my original theory was that this was Demise because I couldn't think of any scenarios or any games, I should say, where Ganon had that long of hair. And the first person I thought of with long hair was Demise. And we mentioned earlier about the Trident of Demise, which is only in Hyrule Warriors, so maybe they're adding some of those ideas from Hyrule Warriors into this game?
It's entirely possible, but again, that game isn't canon, so they might just be pulling stuff out of thin air. Most likely, looking at this now, it's Ganon. There's a couple factors here. This chest injury is very, very closely related to the end of Twilight Princess. The end of Twilight Princess, Ganon had that injury right in the middle of his chest where Link stabbed him. And then even after that, for more proof, the way this entity wakes up is with a neck snap. And how he was finally killed in Twilight Princess was with Zant neck snapping him. Or at least figuratively. So there's a lot of Twilight Princess references in this scene.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at the timeline, if you look at the child timeline, it does go Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, then Four Swords Adventures, and then potentially this game. So it's entirely possible that that's the timeline they are going down and they're taking stuff from all those games I just listed.
If we are truly going down the child timeline, it does make sense. Like with the whole Arbiter's Grounds and everything, it is in the Gerudo Desert. They have Gerudo logos all over this form. And the earrings, and the loincloth. It just seems to add up to feel like it should be Ganon. But yeah, let's talk about this hand.
Yeah, like is it infusing this character with the malice? And I know you like it looks like the malice is coming out, so it's like what exactly is that hand?
My theory is that this one's a seal. Holding down this evil entity, but the mouse is still coming through. But who knows? Link is putting his hand up here. My thoughts on this, I think this look at his hand right here might be a part of the mechanics of the next game. Since there's no Sheikah Slate, this could be part of his thing. He might be able to like have some skills with it. Who knows?
So maybe this is the new kind of power in a sense that's being utilized by the world, whether it be Gerudo or something different is yet to be seen, but it's possible that instead of Sheikah technology, we'll be seeing this.
Notable thing about like the scenes with like the hands and the hand holding and like saving each other, these shots seem are more than sure they're out of order. This is like a flashback moment of things going on. Probably the first shot was this, them probably entering the shrine or dungeon or whatever it is.
Yeah, to me that actually looks a lot like it could be a dungeon, just the way that it's designed and the door is shaped. It seemed like this is the grand opening to something bigger.
And I think that was one of the things that in Breath of the Wild 1 people were complaining about. Is like there's no proper dungeon.
Yeah, it's also possible that like, this is underneath Hyrule Castle.
It's actually highly probable. Because in the last shot, it seems like at the moment this entity wakes up, then the actual castle, it's probably deeper underneath the castle.
Right, so that just leads to the question, like, what is this thing doing under Hyrule Castle? Like, how deep underground does this go? We know that the Guardians and even the Divine Beasts were discovered underground because Breath of the Wild takes place about 10,000 years after the last Zelda game on whatever timeline you choose to put it on. So, I think it's interesting. Maybe we'll learn more about the history of, like, this Hyrule, like, what really is hidden underground, and, like, what secrets are there to be unfolded in the Breath of the Wild universe.
Got a shot here of this hand bringing Link upwards. So this also kind of cut back on my theory where I thought this hand would be Link's hand from the shot earlier, but obviously it's a separate entity, so not quite sure what this is yet. Another thing to note here that I saw are these eyes of Malice are the same that you shoot in Breath of the Wild 1. You know, mostly surrounding like Hyrule Castle, but like little patches of Malice here and there around the world, and you shoot them and usually make the Malice go away. If these eyes are still there after Ganon's gone, maybe this was the source of the Malice before Ganon was banished away or whatever happened to him.
Yeah, in Breath of the Wild, he was hibernating to reincarnate. Is this maybe where he's coming from?
We get our first wide shot of Hyrule Field. One thing I want to note here, it's during twilight. I confirmed this in the game. It's not the morning. This is not a morning shot. This is definitely twilight time, which is the exact same time that final boss fight in Twilight Princess happened. So this just adds up to be more Twilight Princess references. Same thing with Link's Sheikah Slate being gone. There is simply no Sheikah technology. There's no towers. There are no shrines. I can clearly see in Breath of the Wild 1 right now that the shrine is there on the bottom,
But not in Breath of the Wild 2.
not in Breath of the Wild 2, it looks like. In the true ending of Breath of the Wild 1, they said that find these Vanguard to stop responding after we defeat Ganon. So who knows what happened to the technology, but it's clearly gone. It's not there. So as the castle starts to shake, it moves upwards.
Breath of the Wild in space.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild in space? Who knows? It could go just up, several thousand feet up into the air, like just another tower. It could just get into a bigger castle. Yeah, again, like the Castle in the Sky in Labyrinth, or even Skyward Sword. It could just go straight into the sky. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Or it could be like Howl's Moving Castle. It could be a moving castle.
It could be, get legs,
Or-
start walking around.
Or Miyazaki reference.
Yes.
The director of Breath of the Wild, who's also coming back for Breath of the Wild 2, is also the director of Skyward Sword. Maybe he has some sort of affinity towards the Skyward Sword storyline he set up in that game and wants to kind of flesh it out a little bit more now that they're doing Breath of the Wild 2. And hopefully, because they're doing Breath of the Wild 2, they can put a little bit more emphasis on the story, which is one of my biggest gripes in the first game.
Yeah, I think they're taking a lot of the input from the last game. So hopefully there'll be dungeons. Hopefully there'll be a much more fleshed out story. We can pet doggos.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That would be nice. Yeah, instead of just feeding them meat, can I just pet the dog? But yeah, hopefully they'll address some of those issues coming into this game. Because there's a lot that I wanted. Even those games was very fleshed out. When I first saw this trailer, I was actually flipping out. I was like jumping out of my chair because I freaking love this game.
I don't think anybody expected a new Breath of the Wild so quickly.
No, absolutely not. And I think we could probably make some comparisons to Majora's Mask. And I believe, what was it, Wind Waker 2 Phantom Hourglass?
Yeah, Phantom Hourglass takes place immediately after the Wind Waker when they're sailing away from Outset Island. But
yeah, to be short with it, Zelda does not make proper sequels very often.
yeah, and it's really interesting. A lot of times, Nintendo with a lot of their games just moves on to the next game, doesn't continue on with the assets that they currently have.
Right.
So it's cool to see them doing this now with Breath of the Wild, continuing that story, using these same assets that got them critical praise when the game came out back in 2017.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I personally break this game. That is my main thing I love to do. I love to do combat stuff, so I hope to keep a similar, at least the same engine. I want to see how these fights turn.
I think that if they are keeping the same engine and they are just kind of like focusing on like the sequel aspects, I think it's pretty safe to say that we'll see like the same inventory system, the same item breakability system.
I hope so. I mean, of course, they want to have a little bit of an evolution in the actual engine itself. In short, I want a little bit of growth, but also keep it a little bit of the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be a little bit more than what Majora's Mask was to Ocarina of Time, as Majora's Mask was pretty much exactly the same in terms of the inventory system.
Right.
Breath of the Wild 2 will probably have some new mechanics here and there. I think that's safe to say. But I guess time will tell how that will go.
Yep.
So that was our little trailer analysis theory breakdown of the new sequel trailer for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Thanks so much for joining us.